Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for our webinar on Drug Free 24/7 today. My name is Allison Scher, and I'm Director of Programs for Drug Free Action Alliance. For those of you who are not familiar with our agency, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about who we are. We're a statewide private nonprofit prevention agency here in Ohio that was founded in 1987, and our mission is to lead the way in promoting healthy lives through the prevention of substance abuse and related problems. Before we get started, I do want to review a few housekeeping items and let you know how you can participate in today's event. Basically, first, there are two ways that you can hear the webinar today. One is through the speakers on your computer. The other is by using your phone. For those of you who are listening through computer speakers, you have to be signed in under Voice over IP in order for that to happen. If you experience problems, you might want to consider changing to that on the audio portion of your control panel on the right side of your screen and dialing in by phone instead. While there is no charge to listen through your computer speakers, know that if you dial in on your phone, you will be billed for this call just like any other long-distance call. If you need technical assistance or if you're having any kind of audio problems, we recommend that you go ahead and write down this phone number, because while you may not have problems now, you may have them later in the webinar, and we'd rather not have to type and send everybody the phone number again. So if you haven't already, please take a note of the 1-800-263-6317 GoToWebinar technical assistance phone number, and keep that to the side in case you do need that. Couple webinar tips before we get started as well. We encourage you to close all the other applications open on your computer, because this will prevent lag time in your computer screen keeping up with our screen, and that way you're in real time with us. That's also going to help keep you less distracted, so no eBay, no phone calls, no email checking while you're on the webinar. That'd be helpful. Due to the number of people participating today, which is wonderful, I am sorry to say that we're going to keep you all muted throughout the entire session today. Otherwise, the background noise really becomes a distraction. However, if you want to ask questions or communicate with me, you can do so by typing a comment in the question area of your control panel. Let me draw your attention to that control panel. It's located down the right side of your screen, and you can open or collapse this control panel by hitting the red arrow. And I want you to be sure you can see where you can type your questions. In case you can't see your control panel, be sure to click the red arrow you should see on your screen in order to open it. And then the questions section is at the bottom of your control panel, and all you have to do is type your question, click send, and your question will be submitted to me. Other participants will not be able to see your questions. Only the organizers of this webinar will see it, which is me and two other staff here from Drug Free Action Alliance who are assisting us today. We may not have time to get to every question depending on how many come in. They will be making notes of those questions. They will answer what they can to you directly through the webinar question format, or they'll be passing those questions off to me, and we'll have two places in the session today where we'll take those questions and get to as many of them as we can. We do ask that you can send your questions, anytime during the webinar, but know that we're only going to address them to the entire group in 2 points during the webinar, about the halfway point and at the end. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording is going to be posted on our website within about 2 weeks. We've just rolled out a new website, and we'll be announcing that ideally through a newsletter of that webinar being recorded and where it's available for people to get it. If you have coworkers, colleagues who you think would be interested in this webinar, please do let them know that CEUs are only available for today's webinar through the live participation in the webinar, and we cannot offer CEUs for anyone viewing the recorded archived webinar on our website. Last item is how your certificates will work. They will be emailed to you within 30 days. In order for you to receive a certificate of attendance, you must attend the full webinar and complete the survey. You will receive a link to the survey in an email from Citrix Online, our webinar service provider. If you are a group of people who are attending the webinar from one computer, you'll need to complete that survey as a group. In addition, if you've not already received a group webinar attendance form, so if a bunch of you are gathered around one computer in a conference room together, you need to please contact me, Allison Scherer, at the following email address in order to get that form, and everybody needs to sign in on that form. My email address is Scherer, that's ASHARER, at drugfreeactionalliance.org. Ideally, I'd like to have those completed group forms by 5 p.m. today, so immediately following the webinar, if you do not have a group form, please email me and I'll get one out to you as soon as possible. I think we just need our final thought on webinar etiquette. Even though you're all muted, I think for your best participation in the webinar, it would be ideal if you could keep noise and distractions at a minimum on your end so that you can stay focused in on the webinar and those questions as they're rolling in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready to present about Drug Free 24/7. Some of you may be familiar with this project, as we did do a kind of soft rollout of this program last year. And today's webinar is really a more formal kickoff of Drug Free 24/7, and during the webinar we're going to cover the following material. We're going to look at what is Drug Free 24/7 within the scope of a social marketing campaign. We're going to cover social marketing and what it is, including some tips on effective social marketing projects and communication strategies that are effective, and then look how Drug Free 24/7 helps make those social marketing attempts and strategies easy for yourself and helps give you year-round programming that you can do small or big throughout the year. A web tour of our online guide for this project is also going to be available online, and we're going to do a tour of that in the webinar today so you can see where all those resources are. Again, there will be a recorded version of this webinar available online through our website up in the next 2 weeks. So what is Drug Free 24/7? It is a framework for social marketing of prevention messages. And we're really gearing it to be able to address a year-round messaging campaign, all under the same banner that ties all your communications together and brands them. Really what we wanted to do when we started this program was to capitalize on key observances that happen throughout the year in order to help communities and coalitions to engage diverse community sectors. So utilizing April's Alcohol Awareness Month or National Health Screening Day or the Great American Smokeout, and tying an alcohol and drug abuse prevention message together with related observances throughout the year, all under a consistent branded message of Drug Free 24/7. We also wanted to provide fresh and easy to implement ideas, and again tie it all together under one banner, and we're going to look at the importance of doing that as we go today as well. So before we get into Drug Free 24/7 specifically, I want to take a step back and more globally look at what is social marketing. And basically that's using marketing tactics to influence health behaviors. And social marketing campaigns really give us an opportunity as communities and coalitions to get the attention of various target populations in our community. Now that message has to meet those folks where they're at and give them a message that's timely and resonates with them. And that's how we start to create more awareness, not only in that target population, but ideally you have a multifaceted project throughout the year that starts to target various populations within your community and create a more global awareness that kind of spreads. And, I always think of it as like doing the wave through a stadium at a sporting event. You don't just have one row do it. That's not a wave. You need everybody participating. So as we move through our communities to get attention on the alcohol and drug issue and create awareness in every community sector, these campaigns also can provide an opportunity to provide education. Now, that said, social marketing messages, they can stand alone, and you can get some movement on effectiveness of your work and create some change, particularly in community perceptions of how much of a problem we have in our community, and particularly around changing some community norms. But you're going to go a lot further with that if you tie social marketing in as a backdrop to your comprehensive prevention programming that's happening throughout your community, whether that be individually focused prevention, such as skill building, decision making, information education type pieces for individuals, as well as tying it to